What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever these videos drop. And please make sure you're hitting the like and share button so that we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure this message get out to the ears that need to hear. And with that being said, family, I finally had time to check out the interview between Don Lemon and Elon Musk. And if you were ever on the fence about whether or not Elon Musk is a stone cold bigot racist, then look no further than this interview. Look no further than this interview. And it's about an hour long, hour 6 minutes. But we're not going to go over the whole interview. There's only one section that I really care about. They spoke about DEI and Elon made himself look stupid as hell. However, that's not what I want to talk about. And I haven't seen any clips about what this man said in this interview that was very disrespectful, very racist, very untrue, and some more white splaining. I'm white and I say so. So, we're going to get into it. And we're going to correct him because Elon said, well, when this video airs, there's going to be a bunch of people who put up the facts. Don Lemon was asking him, okay, what evidence do you have that DEI is lowering people's standards? Well, I think that people will wait until this interview, and I guarantee you, people will be putting up articles and their evidence. Don Lemon said, those people, that's just opinions. Like, do you have any fact checkers in your information? Well, like I said, I just think that, once we put up this video, people will put up the facts and we can go from there. So he made himself look stupid as hell, which isn't really hard to do when you're Elon Musk. I don't know why people think this man is a genius. It's a man living off of privilege. A man living off of privilege. One point of the interview, this man talked about, Don Lemon asked him, do you think black Americans or black people in this country receive the same opportunities as people like you or something like that? And he's like, what kind of... Oh, he was like, because of your skin color. He was like, what opportunities are afforded to me because of my skin color? First of all, you have 3 companies that are all subsidized by the American government. 3 companies that are all subsidized by the American government. And I ain't talking Twitter. So I don't want to hear this nonsense that this man is speaking about any more than you do. But there was a part in this interview that needs to be addressed. So let's get there.
I did not.
Let's talk about trans rights and the woke mind virus, because you talk about that a lot. You're right about that a lot on the thing. You have been deeply outspoken about the issue of trans rights. You posted trans rights. You posted that pronouns and bio mean the woke mind virus ate your brain. Do you know what the term woke actually means?
It's come to mean a lot of things.
But what originally it was meant to mean. It's just being aware of inequities in society and being aware of facts and history.
Yeah, I think it's come to be, I think being aware of inequities in society is fine, of course. But trying to blame everything on trying to make everything a race issue is, I think, divisive and corrosive to society.
Sir, you do know that everything is a race issue because you're living in a country that was built off of racism, don't you? Don't you know that you're living in a country that still to this day has policies on the books that's detrimental to Black Americans? Don't you know that till this day there are still inequities in the spending power of Black Americans versus white Americans? Meaning, if I wanted to go buy a freaking truck, that white American's gonna get a better deal on that truck than I would as a Black American. If I wanted to go buy a house, that white man would get a better deal on that house, if they even sell the house to me. Hell, some people don't even want to buy a house if the owner is a Black person. So what in the hell is this man talking about? If you haven't yet, you need to go and pick up a book, and the book is called The Black Tax. Read that book, and that book will tell you all the different disparities that we still face today. We're charged more on loans, if we get a loan, if they even give us a loan. We're charged more on taxes, everything. But let him tell it. Let him tell it. That's not the case.
Even as it relates to trans issues, which is what I'm...
Yeah, race or, gender or whatever.
You think that society blames everything on racism now?
It blames a lot of things on it, and yeah.
You think that's unfair?
Yeah.
Why?
I think we should not make this a constant subject. I think we need to move on. I think we just treat people like people.
You don't agree that this country was founded on racism and founded on slavery and in many ways inequities that still continue on to this day?
I think every country at that time, and I think even today, was extremely racist. Every country. Obviously, slavery was present in about half of this country, was not present.
No, Elon, slavery was present throughout the country, whether in the North or South. Slavery was present. It was very present. It was very present. And if you didn't make your money off of the plantations, you would make your money by selling the goods to other countries. That's how a lot of people in the North also made money. So while this man is sitting here spewing a bunch of false bull stuff right in front of this black man, well, Don Lemon really, if you want to give him that, but technically he's black. Technically. But he's sitting in front of this black man sitting there spewing this nonsense. And he thought he was going to be able to do that because you my new house pet. I put you on this platform. You're my pet. But that's not what he got. He got some pushback. And because he got some pushback, he started saying a bunch of literally false. Well, he was already speaking false information, but then it goes deeper, family.
present in the North. There was racism for sure, but you know, I think we want to look to the future rather than the past, and instead of engaging in constant rehashing of the past, because in fact, if you look at history, if you study history broadly, everyone was a slave. Everyone.
Did you get that? Did you get that? If you study history, everyone was a slave. Everyone. According to Elon Musk. Let's run that back. We're going to give him opportunity to finish that.
But you know, I think we want to look to the future rather than the past, and instead of engaging in constant rehashing of the past, because in fact, if you look at history, if you study history broadly, everyone was a slave. Everyone.
Yes. Well, not everyone was a slave.
No, everyone was a slave.
Okay, but
we are all descended from slaves.
yeah. Well,
All of us.
yeah.
So it's just a question of when. Was it more recent or less recent? That's it.
You saw Don Lemon's face boggled, like, did he really just say that dumb shit? Yeah, but we all didn't come from slaves. Oh yeah, everybody's descendant of a slave. It's just what time period is it? Is it then or more recent? No, ninja. You didn't descend from a slave. You descended from a colonizer. And if you're speaking about indentured servitude, that is not the same thing as slavery. Indentured servants was able to have their own places. Their children were able to go to school. Maybe not at the same time as the wealthy children, but they were able to go to school. The indentured servants was able to get an education. They were able to learn how to read. Show me an indentured servant that went through the things that Black Americans went through during the time of antebellum slavery, and I'll give you $1 million. I don't even have $1 million, but I'll go get it. I will find it and I will give it to you. And when I say going through the things that Black Americans was going through during antebellum slavery, being uprooted out of your home, put into chains, thrown onto boats, sailed to a whole different country. The Black Americans that was already here, the natives, the actual Native Americans that was here, they gave them smallpox and SARS and other smallpox, gave them blankets with smallpox all over it. Chemical warfare on the first Black Americans that was here. The actual Aboriginals, not the Mongoloid that made their way over the ice cap from Alaska and China, who are descendants of Genghis Khan and them. We're not talking about them. The Black Africans that was, the Black Americans that was here already, the indigenous, and then the people that was brought over to these Americas. And then show me a person that was sold at auction, separated from families, and sent all across these United States. Show me that. Then show me where they were beaten, raped, men and women and children raped in front of everyone. Our children being used as alligator bait. Show me an indentured servant that went through that. Show me an indentured servant that was being tortured. Show me. Show me the indentured servant that was being used as a test dummy for medicine. Show me an indentured servant who was getting their organs removed and body parts rearranged like they was doing out in Louisiana. Show me an indentured servant whose child was sold to pedophile slave owners. There's a whole history of a bunch of pedophile slave owners. Show me. You can't, because it didn't happen and you weren't slaves. So Elon Musk is so much full of shit. It's coming out of his eyes, his ears, it's coming out of his pores, and of course his mouth. There's never been anybody who's went through what Black Americans went through anywhere on the face of this planet. And that's why Black Americans hold the high moral ground. Out of everywhere around the world, out of anybody around the world. The world looks to us to say what's right and wrong. But you got this pretending African ass nigga right here. Y'all gotta excuse me because, like I said, I'm a bit heated over that. You don't give away our lineage to the world. You do not try to steal our lineage. It ain't going down like that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you some comments from the last video that I did. I released last night as I'm doing this broadcast is the 22nd of March. On the 21st of March, I released a video with Shannon Sharp and comedian Godfrey. And Godfrey was basically saying the Black American culture is the strongest culture around the world. And I was basically pushing back because he kept saying we are culture. We, this, that, and the third. So I'm going to show that. Excuse me. Let me rephrase this. There was a comment made that had to be addressed on there as well about lineage. But we'll get to that. And I'm going to show you the comment. So whoever left the comment, just be prepared for your comment to be put on blast in this video. But let's let him continue with his nonsensical BS.
Right. But what future do we want? Is this something we want to make part of our constant dialogue forever, or do we want to say, like, let's just move on and treat everyone,
Now this nigga speaking French. I just want to know what do we want? It ain't about you. Who the hell are you? Beyond a colonizer that was born in South Africa, whose father was out there stealing resources from Africa. Then you come here, and since you were born in Africa, you calling yourself an African American, you silly ass mother. This person. And you never hear this person, none of these folks talk like this to Jewish Americans. You never hear any of these people talk like this about 9/11. It's never forget, so that it'll never happen again. Oh, but when it's about us, Oh, no. Forget that. Forget that stuff. When are we going to move forward? When you drop off the reparations bag. How about that? When you give some real transformative black policies. How about that? Until then, you're going to deal with this. One of the Queen sisters, Anaya, she said something that stuck with me. People asked her, and she said, people are always asking me why I have my chest out the way that I have. And she says, out of all the things that I've done and I've went through, and I finally got the money to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, she said, oh, you gonna get these breasts. You gonna get this work. So I say that to say this, Elon, until you drop off that bag, y'all gonna get this work. And we gonna continue to talk about and speak about it even after reparations. Let's be very clear. The same way Jewish Americans speak about the Holocaust after their reparations. The same way Native Americans speak about their situation after reparations. So Elon Musk with all this, when are we gonna get, shut your ass up and have several seats. And if you're black and you're driving a Tesla, this is a man that you just put money, gave money to, excuse me. You put money into this man's pockets. This racist ass bigot. Let's make that clear.
According to just who they are as an individual.
I agree with you with that. That's the ideal. But what the evidence shows is that that's not what's actually in practice.
I think we're doing better than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Notice, he didn't agree. He didn't take accountability for that. First thing he does is try to nullify it by saying, I think we're doing better than anywhere else. And he said it with such a smug reaction about himself. This is the man that people call genius, ladies and gentlemen. This is the man who people call genius. He's no more genius than a Kanye. Kanye got more genius intelligence than this man.
That's true. I agree with that. But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean a lot to a whole lot of people who aren't able to take advantage of the opportunities that you were able to take advantage of, simply because the color of your skin.
What advantages did my color of my skin give me?
Every advantage in a system of white supremacy. You see, Dr. Neely Fully already prepared us for this. He said what? White supremacy plays both sides of the fence. And our other Grandmaster teachers have told us that what? White people play stupid and they want you to play stupid with them. That's not how this works. But yet he's sitting here trying to speak to a black man with such nonsensical stupidity.
Well, there's an ease that you have in society that many people of color don't. You were able to come to this country voluntarily. There are many people who were not able to come to the country voluntarily. There are people who came here as slaves.
For me to come here.
And there is a legacy of slavery that still continues on. There's a legacy of racism that still continues on in this country. That's undeniable.
Well, if we keep talking about it nonstop, it will never go away.
Go tell that to Jewish Americans. Go tell that to Native Americans, or the so-called Native Americans. Go do it. Go say that, Elon. Exactly that. If we keep talking about the Holocaust, we'll never get past it. If we keep talking about the stolen land, we'll never get past it. Go say that to them. Otherwise, sit your crazy ass down and shut the hell up.
If we keep making that the central thing, it will never go away.
Why do you believe that?
I think I'm just making a simple statement of fact. So I think we want to get away from making everything a race or a gender or whatever issue, and just treat people like individuals.
Do you have any desire to understand what many people of color and even trans people, how they feel about this country?
And don't think that it's getting past me that Don Lemon keep on throwing trans people in with black people while he's having this conversation. That could have been a whole different segment, because this man got several segments on here that he's speaking about several things. He did not need to put transgenderism or anything like that in with black Americans or about our history. Trans history is not black history. Black history is not trans history. I had to tell somebody the other day when they was trying to throw talking about gay history is black history because Stonewall. First and foremost, I gangbanged on him and let him know. I said, first and foremost, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And if you don't know what you're speaking on, you shouldn't be opening your mouth. Stonewall had nothing. That situation that at Stonewall had nothing to do with police going in there just attacking a bunch of gay people. Stonewall was a drug scene. They got raided periodically. Almost every day they got raided. Consistently. Looking for drugs. Because that's what gay men would do. They would go to the clubs, they would take drugs, and they would go and have fun with each other. But the day that everybody is speaking about where Stonewall, where they threw the brick and all that other stuff, it's not true. The reason that happened was because they went in looking for drugs, and on that day, they saw two gay black men in there dancing and having fun with the white gay men. And when they raided the place, they proceeded to beat the black men. And those two black men fought back. No one in there helped them. It was just the black men fighting back against the police. So everything else, and if you look at the movies and all this other stuff about Stonewall, they got a white lead. They got somebody in there that ain't had nothing to do with a person who never existed. And even when you look at James Baldwin told you himself that it wasn't about sexuality, it was about him being black. But they will try to take our history and intermingle it because there is something in there. Those men were not beat because he gonna turn to me and say, well, you're telling me they wasn't beat because they were gay? I said exactly. They wasn't beat because they were gay. They were beaten because they were black. Gay people has never had a problem in this country. Gay people actually, to be honest with you, have been a part of the oppressive system. There were many gays that were slave owners. Let's be very clear. There were many gays that were slave owners. There was many gays that literally were transgender, dressed up as men, dressed up as women, and they were slave owners. But see, if you ain't sitting in front of a person with this type of fire in your belly which no man can dispute, you'll let that man sit there and spew a bunch of nonsensical bull stuff because he white and he says so. And he knows you ain't gonna do a damn thing about it.
And how they're treated in this country, if they say and they believe that they are treated a certain way in this country, why don't you believe them?
You cannot have a situation where someone is a self-described victim and they just get to be that because that's how they feel.
I think that does happen in some cases, but not all cases.
A self-described victim. The UN came over here and did a report. And the report says that Black Americans are going through genocide in America. Where is that self-inflicted? That isn't called self-inflicted victimhood. That's called actually being a victim of genocide. And even in a freaking state of genocide, we still progress. Don't get it confused. I'm gonna let him say this last bit and then we're gonna move forward, because like I said, if you were on the fence about whether or not Elon Musk was a stone cold, racist, bigoted bastard, then look no further.
And I think that not understanding the history of the country, I think, is a real shame. Look,
we should understand the history of the country and other countries.
I've had incredible opportunities as a person of color.
Right.
But I've also been
very well.
But I've also been discriminated against, and I know that I have. And I know that that's real. And for someone to say that that isn't happening, I should just move forward and not think about that and ignore the past, is insulting.
I'm not saying it. Don, you keep putting words in my mouth. I'm not saying it.
He ain't putting words in your mouth. That's exactly what the hell you just said. If we keep talking about it, we will never get over it. That's what you said. Stop thinking about the past and start looking at the future. That's what you said. We all come from slaves. That's what you said. So what in the rabbit hell are you talking about, Don? Elon. Because Don is looking at you like you're crazy. I'm looking at you like you're crazy. And this is the first time, I gotta say, me and Don probably on the same page. It won't be for long, but I gotta say we're on the same page. You sound crazy. You know what? I ain't gonna play the rest of it. If you want to see the rest of this video, I'll link the link in the description or whatever. You can look it up, whatever you do. But we're done with this for right now, because like I said, these folks here, when I say these people are stone cold racist and they will try to put anything into the mainstream, into the lamestream in order to craft a narrative, next thing you know, we gonna be hearing Joe Biden running around talking about we all come from slavery. It just depends on what time frame. This is these type of people. They really, really, really want us to give away our birthright. They truly do. They don't know what else to do. But they're trying their hardest to get you to give up your birthright. They are. But it's okay. It's all right. Excuse that. It just blended in for some reason. But it's okay. It's all right. Because we're here to stand on our square and not just get absorbed into people's nonsense. We know the truth. But it's up to us to call it out, because people like Don Lemon, you saw him just sit there. He pushed back a little bit, but it shouldn't have been no just, oh, well, no, we don't know. You supposed to go off on him and let him know how ridiculous and idiotic he sounds. There's a part in the dang interview where Don Lemon said, "You're so intense. Where's that intensity come from?" He said, "I was born with it." Well, Don Lemon, you were supposed to be very intense when he said the nonsense that he said. When he said the nonsense that he said, you were supposed to be very, very pressed. But that's why you have an actual black media. That's why you have an actual black media. The new black media is an actual black media. And we don't have any problem ripping people's asses to shreds. Pause. Now, I want to go to this comment that was said and take a look at it. Let's bring it up here. So, this comment here, the art of alchemy. The art of alchemy. The art of alchemy says, if you were born here and raised in African American culture and your birth certificate says American, you're one of us. You have every right to say everything Godfrey said. And he's referring to me saying the fact that Godfrey kept saying us, we, when speaking about Black American culture. Godfrey is Nigerian. Godfrey is Nigerian. So there's another comment here. No, you're not. Just because you were born here doesn't mean that you are FBA. That just means that you're a first gen. You are not ethnically black in that case, if that is the case. Excuse me. And here I go. I said I would reiterate, but there's no need to. And then he comes back and says, Shannon Sharp ethnicity is Nigerian. And this is how they're going to try to blur the water, because I've been telling people about this ancestry bullshit for a long time. There's a lot of, I don't want to say, there's a lot of mistakes at bare minimum. Let's at bare minimum, there's a lot of mistakes. At the top key, they're just outright lying to a lot of people. And you guys can go and look that up. So I come in and I say, what's your point? He has Nigerian DNA, but his lineage is Black American. He can trace his family back to slavery here in America. Just because he went to Ancestry.com and it told him what region he likely came from, that means nothing. If any Black American take that test, I'm sure we'll find that we have DNA from all over the continent, because that's what slavery did to us. Also, in case you didn't know, those tests are flawed at minimum and just outright lies at its max. Look it up. Now, what was your point? And see, that was the thing. This man tried to make it seem like, well, if you're born here in America and you was raised in African American culture and you got American on your birth certificate, that make you a foundational Black American. That make you a part of our culture. Who is R? Because I asked him, where's your family from? Hold on. I want to get into here. Drew Laskin comes in. Shout out to Drew. He comes in and says, facts, family. While I appreciate what he said, I don't appreciate him trying to wiggle his way into our lineage. And then here's the same Art of Alchemy. He says he was born here. Drew says that literally means that he's American. Doesn't mean he's a Black American. Being born here doesn't automatically put a person into our lineage. Facts. Make sure I like that. You sound crazy, my guy. Where are you from? So Drew asked him where he's from first. Let's go. He says Black is a color, not an ethnicity. When you do the census, it's the same box checked. And as you can see, he has no type of knowledge in what he's speaking in, because we're talking about two different things. We're talking about being Black versus being ethnically Black. Being Black versus being ethnically Black is two different things. But Drew explained here. He said, I see that you're not from America. There is a difference between being Black versus ethnically Black. Black American is different from Black American freedmen. It's not just the color. Ethnically Black are the descendants of American slavery. Our lineage is here. Jamaicans are Black, but when they come here, they are what? Jamaican American. Nigerians are Black, but when they come here, they are what? Nigerian American. Black Americans are from America. Black is our ethnicity here in America. And I came in and asked, where are your people from? Still haven't gotten a response. So we got a lot of people trying to pull this move. If you were raised around Black Americans and born in America, then you're a part of the lineage. No, that's not how that works. My bloodline tells me different. Black American bloodlines tell us different. And it's the same thing your boy Elon tried to do. We all came from slaves. No, the hell we didn't. And if we did, show me your history, because there's documented history on ours. We got our Holocaust on camera. Where's yours? With that being said, family and friends, stand on your square. Continue to correct these bigoted bastards. And make sure you feel as proud as a peacock when speaking about your history. We are proud people, and we have done something that no other group of people on this planet can do, or will ever do, or have ever done. We are the leaders of the world. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can get more content like this whenever it drops. Make sure you hit the like and share button so we can get this message out and beat up the algorithm. Bop, bop, bop. Got to get this message to the ears that need to hear. And leave a comment and tell me what you think about what Elon Musk said. We all come from slavery, just depending on different times. The doors of the church are closed. Peace, family.